Being the first presenter, let me welcome everybody again. And thank you for everybody to be here and the opportunity to do the presentation. My name is Tibor Salamon. I'm the founder and the current president and CEO of Respiderm Corporation. We have been developing, in the last, since 2002, we have been developing, researching and developing, and soon commercializing our transdermal drug delivery technology platform, delivering pharmaceutical gases through the skin non-invasively. This transdermal drug delivery platform enables our company to develop several different product lines, delivering different kind of medical gases, focusing on various medical conditions. We can use different kind of commercialization types on different world markets, focusing on certain market segments and sales channels. The core technology has been developed to be able to use the razor and razor blade business model, meaning there is one main mixing device, it's called a Respiderm, that infuses gas with the water and other liquids. We have an aftermarket accessory, it's exclusive for the device, it's exclusively designed and sold for the device. That's we call it biocapsule, that contains pharmaceutical gases, different kind of gases, and it can be manufactured and distributed in disposable or reusable versions. The other aftermarket accessory is the sheet cover, covering certain body parts. It can cover individual body parts or half body or full body, depends on where the medical condition is that we are treating. Again, it can be distributed and manufactured in one-time use, disposable version, and of course, reusable version as well. The medical gases that we can deliver with our devices, we have a list, but it's not limited to the list, of course. One of them is the main focus is CO2, treating peripheral arterial disease, increasing microcirculation. It's not really popular in the United States yet, but it's all around the world. It's getting more and more focus and interest in a scientific community as well. Nitric oxide, of course, probably many of you heard about it already, stimulates the nervous system and creates muscle relaxation. Dr. Luis Ignaro is really famous for nitric oxide. He received a Nobel Prize in 1998 for discovering nitric oxide for different kind of medical conditions. Another gas that we can deliver is oxygen. Of course, everybody knows hyperbaric oxygen chambers for treating multiple diseases. The other gas we know we can deliver is argon, and it's increasing oxygen consumption in acute hypoxia. Of course, there are other gases can be delivered with the device in the future as they are getting discovered. Medical gases is getting more and more highlight in the medical industry. Our first focus is carbon dioxide, medical CO2, treating acute and critical limb ischemia, which affects over 4 million, almost 5 million people in the United States as of today. Cost about $3 billion annually for the healthcare system. The diagnostic rate is over 10%. It's dramatic. Critical limb ischemia is mostly caused by diabetes and peripheral arterial disease. And 40 and 45% of these patients will experience some kind of amputation, and unfortunately 20 to 25% of them die within 5 years of treating their condition. The current practices, I would like to talk a little bit about the current practice. Mainly surgeries today, different kind of insertion technologies and highly invasive surgeries, including about 250,000 amputations annually. And that's today the most common form of treatment for CLI. These treatments are painful and highly expensive. We know it costs about $30,000, $35,000 for the limb amputation, requires long hospitalization and long recovery time. The surgeries can only be applied by trained physicians and doctors, and the surgery frequently accomplished with, accompanied, with complications, infections, and very often death, as we talked about it earlier. Today, drug treatments are available, but those are expensive, only treat the symptoms of the condition, and of course, as we know, it has a lot of side effects, and that requires even more hospitalization and recovery time. The alternatives for CLI is applicable only by trained technician and physician. It's available only in commercial environments, hospitals and other clinics, and it has high risk of infection as one person is using the same device multiple patients are using the same device over and over again. One of them is hyperbaric oxygen chambers. As we know, it costs about $5,000. The treatment price starts from $200. It can go up to $1,000 if you go to a hospital sometimes. And hyperbaric chambers are generating over $500 million annually. Some research shows that they already reached $1 billion annually. There is another technology not many of you heard about. It's really popular in Europe and Asia. Mitsubishi developed the device. It's called Carbotera. As you see on the image, you are submerging your hands or feet into this small tub, and the water is filled up with medical carbon dioxide and treats the same way. The device costs about $5,000. Again, the treatment price is between $200 and $400 per treatment. Mitsubishi generates over $50 million annually with their device as of today, and they are not on the US market yet, as far as we know. Other CO2 application, carboxy, they are actually invasively injecting CO2 under the skin for the same purpose as our devices. They are also focusing on cellulite and weight loss programs. These people call the CO2 actually the miracle gas, which is an interesting point. There is another device in Europe. It's a huge bathtub, and they are filling the bathtub up with gas, actually. It's really not user-friendly. It costs over $15,000. That's not going to be the one on the market, definitely. Nobody likes to be naked in a bathtub with gas, filled up with gas, I guess. Our product characteristics, I would like to talk a little bit about our product. The retail price is $399. That's a home version. The commercial version will be $799. It's a lightweight portable device. No external power source is needed whatsoever. The pressure of the gas coming through the gas cartridge is the one that does the job and does the delivery all the way through the system, so no electricity needed. The device is applicable in commercial and in home. That's why you see the two different prices. No technician or special training needed to operate the device. Anybody can use it right away after you take it out from the package. It's really user-friendly. It's as easy to use as you screwing in a light bulb anywhere, the same way you screw in the cartridge. The accessories can be disposable or reusable. If you are using, of course, in a home environment, you may choose a reusable version. You can wash it yourself, pop and mom. They can reuse it. Or in commercial environments, of course, you're not going to use the same treatment cover on the same patient, so that's going to be a disposable one-time use version. The device can be used pretty fast. It takes about 2 minutes to prepare and 20 minutes for the whole treatment. A little bit about the treatment benefits itself. I'm separating the device from the treatment itself, as we can deliver several different kind of medical gases. Each treatment will cost about $89 retail price on the market. Doesn't matter which type of gas we are talking about. The treatment is non-invasive, and it's totally 100% pain-free application. It treats isolated or full body as well, as I mentioned earlier. It can be used for preventive and rehabilitative treatment as well in the same time. Using the device shortens rehabilitation times with about 30 to 50%. That means faster hospital release of the patient. It's 100% sterile treatment, as it pretty much isolates the body part, therefore no infections is pretty much possible. It's important to mention that measurable physiological health effects happens after the first treatment right away. It takes 20 minutes, and after that we can measure right away blood pressure going down, blood velocity is increasing, and cell oxygenation is taking place. Talking about a little bit about IP and other competitive advantages. The device is pre-CT protected as of today, and patent pending in over 40 countries. The patent includes 2 different versions of the device, includes the home version and the commercial version as well. Additional patents are ready to be filed. We are in the process of filing those. Laboratory tests and efficacy tests have been completed in Europe and United States. Internally, we did it ourselves with great success. PhDs tested the device in retirement homes and in hospitals in Europe, and we had the chance to use some smaller clinic and smaller facilities here in the US to do some tests. Great results. We've seen people crying after a treatment. They are spending hundreds of dollars every month on high blood pressure pills and drugs, and in 5 minutes we lowered their blood pressure, so the person was pretty much crying in front of me. Independent clinical studies are pending. We are in the process of doing that with UAMS, some professors at UAMS. And we traveled around the world, Japan, Middle East, all around pretty much South Korea, Europe, to find distributor partners. So the distribution exclusive are pending as of today. I would like to talk a little bit about the market channels. As I mentioned earlier, we have several markets to enter, and we have to focus in the main channels. So the first 3 main channels we are focusing on is the nursing service provider companies that are going out to homes to provide nursing services. Of course, including nursing care facilities as well. And the device we intending to that market we call Respiderm Med Pro. Then we are going to hospitals and specialty clinics with pretty much the same device. A little bit different device we call the Respiderm OTC Home. That is intended to home use to the general population. I don't like to use the word consumers. I rather call general population to patients. They can treat themselves or pop and mom each other at home. Third market is the sports medicine market. We call the device Respiderm Sport Pro. The other market is really important. That's a veterinarian market. We have 2 separate devices for that market. One of them is Respiderm Vet Pro. That's for professional veterinarians, and Vet Home for home use. Anybody who has the pets and they would like to treat their own pets, they have the opportunity to do that. And the final market, which is the low barrier market, and it's a pretty big market, it's growing, the wellness medical spa market, and we call the device Respiderm Spa Pro. Of course, there are several markets we could enter and we will enter, and other type of devices, but these are the main markets and main devices we would like to focus on. And just a little bit showing the projection, how we are planning to introduce these devices. So the first 2 years we are planning to introduce all these devices. Actually, every one of the devices will be B2B sales, as the devices will be used for revenue generation, except if you look at the 3rd device, the OTC Home, and the 6th device, which is the Vet Home. Both of those devices will be used for in a home environment, and that's going to be a direct consumer sales. Every one of these devices will be sold through distributors and online as well. A little bit about what we have done in the last couple of years. In the last 8 years, we have developed 2 final prototypes and 6 different generations of pre-prototypes before that. We have done pilot efficacy tests, as we mentioned, in Europe and US. We have built several relationships in the business and collected market intelligence from distributors all the way to manufacturers in every one of these markets pretty much around the world. We spent so much money in the last couple of years just to traveling and visit all these distributors. We have built a detailed business plan, and of course every time we are updating the business plan, and we have collected talented and fantastic advisors and management team to help us along the way. Talking about a little bit about the sales forecast, we are, according to the projections, we are selling about 445,000 devices in the next 5 years, reaching about 8.5% of the 4.8 million CLI patient. As of today, there is no market growth calculated in this number. As you see, I did a little chart showing the importance of each devices. As you see, the home and the home version and the nursing care version of the device will pretty much make up 80% of the revenue stream. So the other markets are kind of less important. Talking about financial forecast based on the sales projections, don't forget this is a razor blade business model, razor and razor blade business model, including about 65% of the revenue stream will come from the accessory sales, not from the device sales. I would like to talk a little bit about assumptions we are basing the projection on. We only calculated US market, regardless of the fact that we have patent pending in over 40 countries. We are using only 2011 market data, no market growth is calculated. We have calculated only CO2 cartridges, no other cartridges, and only CLI, critical limb ischemia medical conditions, and we didn't plan on any other, targeting any other medical conditions. We have planned only one treatment per day, meaning one accessories sold per day, per device sold, which is a conservative number. I mean, an average clinic could do 16 to 18 treatments a day using 8 hours a day to be open. And we calculated that the product prices and accessories prices are reducing 15% every year. With these assumptions, we are reaching $299 million, which is about almost $300 million revenues in 5 years. And looking at the fact that the U.S. wound care device management market is about $4.6 billion, excuse me, this year, we are reaching about 6% of the market share. And the business will be positive in the 5th quarter. Here it's important to mention for a second that the 6% only includes the wound care market. As you see here, the other devices down there, like the veterinarian and sports market, has nothing to do with the wound care. So we only calculated the 6% market share based on the wound care market. Talking about a little bit about capitalization. So far, 10 shareholders, friends and family, and myself, we have invested over $890,000 in the last few years into the business. The business will need a total of $6.5 million according to our projections, of course. You can see a little projection how we would like to involve these funds in 3 stages: $1.2 million Series A funding, $3.3 million Series B, and follow-up funding will be about $2 million. The business will sometimes need a little bit additional funding to make sure that cash is in balance. So later that financing is planned into the projection, but we can do that without equity involvement. The Series A user fund, I thought it's going to be important to mention that we are planning to spend the $1.2 million in the next 12 to 14 months. 6 months we are planning to finalize the branding and design of both home and commercial devices with ULR, Department of Engineering. We just filed an STTR proposal to NIH, so we have a detailed plan to do that. We are planning to spend about $50,000 on additional IP and some legal distribution agreements and those kind of things. About 6 to 8 months to do a clinical trials. We are in the process of doing the clinical trial planning with UAMS, Center of Aging. We are planning to spend about $350,000 on that. Of course, that includes the 510K application with FDA. We have an FDA consultant on board, and he believes and we believe that the device is a Class 2A low-risk medical device here in the United States, as European Union, and in Japan as well. Then the next expenditure will be about $250,000. It takes about 4 months to develop the production tools and the basic first inventory, and of course the rest of the funding going to building the management operation and launching the first product. Talking about a little bit about the barriers and risks that the business has. Of course, everybody would think that the major risk is getting the FDA or not getting the FDA. We know it's a Class 2 medical device classification, therefore it's a low risk. It takes about 6 to 8 months to get approval. Medicare and Medicaid coverage, it's again a low risk section, a low risk barrier, as the device is low cost, it's highly effective, overall economic cost for patients and the healthcare environment is tremendous cost savings. And of course, it's non-invasive and no side effects whatsoever. Therefore, it should be no problem to get the coverage. First sales we are planning to do ASAP. Again, it's a low risk, as we can enter to the first market with an alternative version of the device, which is medical spas and wellness centers, without any FDA approval. Therefore, we can generate revenues and then investing back to the medical version. Supply limitation, that's an important part. As of today, the gas cartridges, about 2 million gas cartridges are sold today, and we are planning to sell about 50 million cartridges in 5 years. So additional investment is required, and we have included additional investment into the projection. Talking up just fast about the management, me myself, I've been involved with this project since 15 years in all aspects of this project. We have Gray Williams. He has 25 years of experience with startups and other small, middle-sized companies. John Riggins has 30 years of experience in marketing and sales and business management. We have a CFO, Alan. He has 35 years of experience. He was part of successful startups and successful companies, mid-sized companies in the past. We have a CTO, an engineer. He was actually one of the chief engineers at Medtronic for about 15 years. And we have a great attorney. He has 25 years of experience around the world, Asia and everywhere, doing distribution agreements and business relationships. Thank you very much for your time. I hope I was able to give you the picture. If anybody has any question, I'm more than happy to answer them. Does it work?
Questions? Here you go.
Could you talk a little bit about the margins? I mean, as I look at the forecast in here, the gross margin is fairly thin, and I had the impression that by making your money in the accessory side of it, that they might be higher than that, but it takes quite a few years before you even approach 50% gross margin. And that's because
the average gross margin is 62% actually. The reason why you see the number low, because we have a pre-revenue year when we are spending money the first 12 months and we are not making a dime. Therefore, the gross margin is basically zero. And if we average it out, it's 62%. But actually, in the fifth year, we are reaching 72%. I know it's almost unbelievable, but we have really high margins. One cartridge costs about 90 cents to manufacture, and we are selling it for $4.50. So we have really high gross margin to play with.
Who's going to manufacture the device and the cartridges?
Great question. The device we are going to manufacture ourselves, hopefully here in town. The cartridges is a little bit more unique situation, as there are 3 cartridge manufacturers on earth today. One of the largest cartridge manufacturer is a Hungarian company, and I happen to know them. And they were helping us since the beginning. They helped us to develop some part of the device inside, and we have developed an exclusive cartridge for the device with them. So we hope that they are going to be the manufacturers. They are distributing cartridges in 120 countries as of today.
One more question. Who did you say guiding you through the FDA process?
Yes.
The question was who's guiding?
Yeah, the FDA, he's mentioning the person who's guiding us through the FDA. Yes, we have a person, Dr. Hal Siegel from Arizona. He's the one who used to work for the FDA, and he's done all kinds of work on hyperbaric chambers as well, and other companies, medical gas-related companies actually. And he's the one who's helping us with the process.
Here.
Could you comment on what the endpoints of your clinical trial will be in terms of efficacy?
Yes. We had a really good strategy. First, we wanted to focus on the wound itself, like focusing on healing the wound itself. But of course, a lot of professionals could ask the question that are there any other reasons the wound is healed, not just because of our device. So we have received a really good strategy from a professor at UAMS that we would focusing on microcirculation, increasing the microcirculation itself, and of course the TBI and indexes would show exactly if the wound is healed or not. And that's going to be our main focus, focusing on increasing the microcirculation, increasing the blood velocity, and decreasing the blood pressure in the same time.
Actually, I think that's smart because it gets around the very difficult issue of wound healing, which
That's
is
exactly right.
terrible.
Yeah, we experience that everywhere, that everybody's claiming wound healing, and they are having a hard time to show the evidence that they actually healed the wound because of that reason, that particular reason.
With 65% of your revenue projections coming from the expendables, the cartridges, what is the intellectual property protection that prevents a third party from raiding your razor blade market, so to speak?
I usually answer this question in two ways. Number one, I can't stop anybody raiding the market. And I won't. And I believe there will be all kinds of Chinese companies coming up with all kinds of attachment and solutions. Number one, the gas cartridge is exclusively developed for our device. So this type of gas cartridge we are using, it doesn't exist on the market today. It's not the same cartridge that you can buy in a store. The attachment system will be, again, different. And the way we intend to protect that, other than the IP itself, as I mentioned, others will come, all kinds of attachment systems, that we are planning to offer, hopefully even a lifetime warranty on a device, because our intention to keep selling the accessories. And by doing that, if we can market the device the way that we can say, if somebody else is using a different type of cartridge, at that point they lost all of the rights of any kind of claims on any kind of, even the warranty for the device. If something happens with them, I mean, we are talking about medical treatment, if the cartridge blows up, then they have nowhere to go. And we are intending to build a community around the device that they will have no real reason to go with another cartridge, as they're not going to be able to manufacture the cartridge cheaper than we will. So they can manufacture a fake cartridge and selling the same price, and our customers will have no reason to go with a fake cartridge. They have no benefit whatsoever. Actually, they're just losing.
So you talked about hyperbaric chambers and this Mitsubishi device that have, it looks like had sort of modest revenue generation. And it seems like the premise of yours is to use it either in a home or sort of long-term care setting. What sort of expansion of the clinical efficacy, what have you done so far to show that it's easy to use for a patient or a nurse, or just sort of this general patient compliance problem that sort of home applications like this always have?
One prototype we have been tested specifically in retirement home, with a general nurse working in a retirement home. We have collected all the usability problems or issues that they had, and we implemented into the device already. Great success in the retirement home, and we have tested the device in a hospital environment as well in Europe with same great success. A professor was using the device for treating the patient. We had no problem whatsoever with usability or even the device, the efficacy itself. And we have been using the device in a home environment. My own mom is using the device since 2 years. I can't even take the device off of her hand. She has arthritis in both of her hands. She used to take all kinds of drugs and painkillers. Since she's using the device once a week already, she started using the device every day, and about a month later, just once a week. She's been using the device since 2 years, no other drugs, she doesn't take anything else, and she needs it. Sometimes her hands are swelling, she's using the device in the morning, it takes 20 minutes, and then after that she can go out and take care of herself, cooking and everything. But without the device, she would not be able to do that. So even in a home environment, the device shows really, really good advantages, and it works perfectly.
My question is really kind of a follow-up to that, so I wasn't really clear on the clinical indications, but you mentioned wound healing, and are you thinking like in the diabetic population? And then a secondary question to that is just with the rise in obesity in our population, and diabetes is a secondary complication of obesity, I would think that would be potentially a pretty huge market for you, and I just was wanting clarification on the diagnoses that you were going for.
You are pointing at something really interesting. As we know that for example, the carbon dioxide treatment, of course we are delivering other gases, but carbon dioxide is one of those that has all kinds of medical positive medical effects. There is a hospital in Europe treating 600 patients monthly, and they are only doing carbon dioxide treatment. Imagine a whole room filled up with people sitting on a bench, carbon dioxide, the room is filled up with carbon dioxide until their chest. They have seatbelt on them, make sure nobody's passing out and going into the gas. And they are treating arthritis, they are treating osteoporosis, or they are focusing on weight loss as well, as they believe that the carbon dioxide is killing fat cells upon contact. The other devices I showed, the Rio Blush, for example, they are injecting CO2 under the skin for exactly that purpose. So we can focus, we have wide variety of focus as far as treatments. We selected specifically wound healing because that's where we started to do our own efficacy tests. And that's what so far we find as a niche and a really good need. But of course, in the future, we are focusing on other medical conditions, including weight loss, because that could, of course, as you mentioned, decrease diabetes and, of course, affect the wound problems.
Thank you, Tibor. Thank you very much.